If burnout from the Tracy Anderson Method hasn't happened to you yet, it probably will. And if it already has happened to you before, it may likely happen again. In today's video, we're going to talk through why burnout happens, what to do to face burnout and overcome it, and how to prevent burnout in the future. Hi, I'm Rachel. This is Rundown with Rachel. Each week, I create video content around the Tracy Anderson Method and the things I'm doing to create a happier, healthier lifestyle. Because on some level, I think that's what we're all after. In today's video, we're talking burnout because I recently worked through burnout of my own. And it's to be expected because Tracy Anderson is a lifestyle. It's a marathon. And just like a real running marathon, there's going to be times where your pace slows down, but really you have to keep perspective and tune in to see what you need to do to continue forward. So it's so important to discuss burnout because it likely will happen, but instead of just quitting on Tracy Anderson Method altogether, it's really a matter of figuring out what you need to support you through the long haul. So let's start with why burnout happens with the Tracy Anderson Method. I've really identified a few main categories. For me, most recently, I burned out because I was going too hard. I had upgraded to a level, the advanced level Attain. It was too much for me. I was doing an hour of Attain every day along with dance cardio, and I was doing that at least 6 times a week. And I was really proud of myself. I felt really great, but I was doing too much and I didn't realize it until it was too late. Another reason for burning out with Tracy Anderson Method is it can get boring because let's face it, you're doing about the same workout just about every day and you're doing it alone. You're likely following the same routine. Of course, it repeats with Metamorphosis 10 days in a row, and with the online studio, it's every day for a week. And it can feel a bit repetitive. It can get a bit boring. And then lastly, another big reason for burnout is, well, it can get frustrating if you feel like maybe you've plateaued. You're not seeing the results you want, so you're less inclined to be motivated. You're not really seeing the fruits of your labor. So those are all common reasons for why burnout can happen. So what do we do? What do we do to face burnout and move through it? This is where I think it's so very important for you to be honest with yourself and make choices that are in your best interest. And everybody's on a different path. Everybody has different needs. So in my case, the case of overdoing it that caused burnout, I ended up taking 4 to 5 days of a break where I continued walking quite a bit. I continued doing my rebounder because I love it and I'm really looking forward to providing an update around that. But I really just had to slow down and I paused the mat workout. The benefit of continuing to move is it really does so much for my mood and my energy levels that I'm so much better to get some type of activity in versus taking a true break and really not doing anything at all. After the days where I stopped doing Attain, I ended up starting with the fundamental or intermediate workout. And I enjoyed it so much because it was so much more reasonable for me. I could actually do it. With Attain, I think I would become overwhelmed because some of the moves were too challenging and it just became way too stressful and way too challenging. So getting into fundamental felt great because I could do it. I really feel like I'm getting a fantastic workout with fundamental. And that way I was really able to build momentum and build much more enthusiasm for the method. I recently had someone comment that they had a similar experience and they too ended up starting back up on a lower level just because it made more sense for them. Really, it just goes to show if you find yourself going too hard, maybe it just makes sense to take a step back for a little bit. It means nothing about you. It means nothing about what you're capable or not capable of. It's just a matter of continuing forward, making the best decision for you. All right, another way to be burned out, maybe you're bored because let's face it, most of us are doing this workout alone. We are doing just about the same thing every day and it can kind of become like Groundhog's Day. If you're in that situation, really it's best that you go back to the basics as far as making it fun. Maybe switch up your playlist, maybe change up your outfits. Get some new leggings or get one of those fun bodysuits to wear. Change your location. Maybe do dance cardio outside. I follow several Tammers on Instagram and I find they do that now and then and how fun it is. But change it up. It's all about changing it up to reduce that boredom that can happen. And on that note, with the TAM Instagram, I do have a video covering the importance of tapping into the Tracy Anderson community, but that's another way to make the workout so much more fun, is to post snippets of your workout, make a TAM Instagram dedicated to your Tracy Anderson workout, and you'll have fellow Tammers follow you. You can follow fellow Tammers, and when you post on your story, be sure to tag Tracy Anderson and Tracy Anderson Online Studio, as they will likely feature you on their story. It creates a fun community element, and it's just another thing to look forward to. Another big reason for burnout is maybe you're not experiencing the results you would expect. And once again, we really want to be honest with ourselves. Are you doing the workouts full out? Are you really challenging yourself? Or perhaps you're being too critical. Maybe you don't realize how far you've come. One thing I'm looking forward to doing is scheduling time with the prescription office, where you can actually have a one-on-one consultation with someone from the Tracy Anderson team, and they can give you feedback for what you can do better. So of course, once I do that, I will be sure to give a rundown on that, but that's something certainly to look into. I've noticed that there have been times where, especially when it comes to my butt, that it almost gets too small than I would like. And I end up realizing, you know what, I have to be so much more conscious around some of those leg kicks and really chasing the burn with some of those butt workouts. And when I do that, it makes all the difference with my butt. So I'm sharing that in the event that it may help you. But really be honest with yourself. If you're not seeing the results you want, really take a look at what your role in that is. And if you're really stumped, maybe schedule a consultation with that prescription team. So those are some common areas for burnout, but let's face it, with all the demands of life, there may be a lot of pressure on you to do everything. And maybe burnout isn't so much because of going too hard in Tracy Anderson or boredom or frustration, but maybe you are being pulled in too many different directions. And maybe it's just a matter of putting Tracy Anderson on the back burner for just a little bit. Maybe there's other priorities that take more precedence, but you also want to be sure that you're not selling yourself short and just giving yourself an excuse to just pause for an extended time. So those are all great ways for you to work through the burnout. But how can you avoid it? How can you avoid this happening in the first place? First, you just want to observe what caused this in the first place and see what can you do differently next time. For me, I'm going to be easier on myself. I'm also changing my perspective for how I approach Tracy Anderson Method. Instead of this huge goal of getting a Tracy Anderson type physique, instead I'm looking at this method as an approach to connect with myself, to kind of build that personal intimacy, if you will. Making time for myself, connecting with my body, and really honoring it and feeling great. When I do that, I find I enjoy the program that much more, and I enjoy the benefits that much more. So observe what caused your burnout in the first place and see what you can do differently next time. You also want to give yourself some grace, especially when this may happen again. You may get burned out because that's just kind of life. There's high tides and low tides, and it's all about managing that. So with that, we walk through why burnout happens, what to do when we face burnout, how to work through it, and how to prevent it in the future. So I hope this video has been helpful. I hope it's exactly what you need. And if you did like it, please be sure to like. It really makes a big difference. Would love to hear from you in the comments. What do you do when you face burnout? Because I learned so much from you all, and I'm sure if you take the time to read any of the comments in the videos I produce, there's so much helpful insight and tips from you all. So thank you so much, and until next time.